across India. To name a few, Dr. Pankaj B, Assistant Register Academics from Ludhiana, Punjab. We also have Dr. P. Malyadri, ICSSR Senior Fellow, Research Advisor in Management and Commerce, Center for Economics and Social Studies, and ICSSR Research Institute, Ministry of HRD, Government of India, Bellampet, Hyderabad. We also are pleased to have Dr. Ranju T. Nair from Kerala, Professor Chandra Sen from Aurangabad, Dr. Raju M. K. from Karnataka, Dr. Jamil Ahmed, Associate Professor and HOD from Maharashtra, Dr. Abid Hussain from Kota. Your esteemed presence amidst us today has made us feel proud. Thank you for your participation. Before we take a start, I would like to take a few minutes to introduce today's resource person, Dr. Jagannath K. Dange. Working for education, social equality, and women empowerment, Dr. Jagannath K. Dange is an educationist, an excellent speaker, a great critic and writer, and inspiring teacher. Was born and brought up in Gulbarga, Karnataka. He completed MSc Psychology from the University of Madras and pursued a master's degree in education at the Gulbarga University. He also holds MA in Sociology from the Karnataka State Open University, Mysore. He has also qualified NET and SLET in education. Dr. Jagannath K. Dange is presently working as an associate professor and chairman of Department of Studies and Research in Education, Kuvempu University. He has already 3 years of teaching experiences at the Teacher Training Institute and 2 years of experience in government secondary school. He has done PhD on the highly innovative educational technology thrust area, keeping in view computer-assisted instruction for secondary students for the first time in India. He was the director of Center for Ambedkar and Buddhist Studies and also coordinator of education programs and advisory board member for Career and Counseling Cell, Academic Advisor Council member for School of Education, Internal Quality Assessment Cell and SC and ST Cell at Kuvempu University. His teachings and research interests include instruction technology, learning technology, mobile learning, education research, and statistics. He was a member of Curriculum Development Committee for 2 years, BA Teacher Education Program, constituted by Higher Education Council, Karnataka, and oriented the teacher educators of the Karnataka state. Dr. Jagannath Dange carried out major research projects on the very important and innovative topics mobile learning at Teacher Training Institute. His contribution includes a newly developed theory of contribution wherein he described an individual's contribution at 5 different levels. His contribution is significant in the development of the theory of success too. His contribution also includes step learning experience model in which he has listed 17 varieties of learning experiences which may be used in the teaching learning process, and he also developed a life skill model based on the World Health Organization proposed 10 life skills. He has published 11 books and developed blended learning material for B.Ed course first time in India in collaboration with Department of Learning Canada, and also published 229 research and conceptual papers in reputed national and international journals and magazines. Dr. Jagannath Dange is a columnist and writes articles for newspapers, and he has presented more than 100 papers at numerous national and international conferences and seminars. He is working as internal peer review committee member for 11 international online journals, UGC listed journals, and advisory board member for a couple of international journals. He worked as honorary advisor, board member, and reviewer for many international conferences around the globe and served as a resource person selected by Higher Education Council of Karnataka and delivered special lectures on different themes of higher education. Dr. Jagannath K. Dange has delivered 240 special lectures on different themes of teaching, learning, evaluation, and paradigm of education, teacher training, Indian Constitution, human rights, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's ideology and Buddhism. He conducted various workshops on how to write articles for research scholars and teachers and on education technology at grassroots level for teachers and using technology for teaching, and has experience of conducting various special lectures on educational research and researchers, teachers and teacher trainings. He has conducted the international conferences organized in Malaysia. He conducted special sessions for Bala Mandira children, corps of police department, and teachers at all levels and students at different categories. He also chaired sessions at national and international conferences. He is also a district research advisory committee member of DITE Shimoga and visited many government primary schools in Shimoga district and provided valuable suggestions to improve the quality of education. Dr. Jagannath K. Dange was interviewed by Doordarshan TV channel Bangalore on 2nd September 2015 and the program was re-telecast in the very next month. He has also participated in All India radio programs from Bhadravati station and given talks on the themes personality development, life skills, and how to face exams, etc. Dr. Jagannath participated in Poets Meet and presented his poem at Saranath, Uttar Pradesh in a national level Poets Meet organized by Kannada Mattu Samskruti Ilakhe. Being a member of Parisara Kendra, he has participated in environmental awareness program. He received Chintana Guide Teacher Award and Chintana Organizing Teacher Award in 2004-2005 and he was honored with Karnataka State Dr. B.R. Ambedkaranath Award for 2018 and Indian Ideal Citizen Award, Karnataka Bhushana Award and Karnataka Baswa Jyoti Award in 2019. He is a founder of Janahita Sabha Forum, an organization for creating education, social, cultural, and political awareness among the people. He is also an advisory board member for the NGO and has given valuable suggestions for organizing needs-based and awareness would be helpful for the society in many spin-offs. His vision to India is to have one country, one education system so that equality can be brought through education system. The well-known persona is now ready with his weapon of eloquence to make us all spellbound with his presentation. It is my honor to invite you once again, sir. Sir, please take over the session.
Good morning to you all. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes, okay. Sir. Thank you very much for giving my brief introduction to the audience. Very good morning to all the dignified teachers, teacher educators, management personnel, and all the participants for being present in this very special webinar on in this webinar, and a very happy Independence Day to you all. We have successfully completed 73 years of independence, and today the whole country and giving me this opportunity. My special thanks and congratulations goes to the principal of the college, Professor V.S. Kattimani, and the management personals who have given the opportunity to conduct this national webinar. And I also congratulate and thank the coordinator, Vijay Raj. Thank you very much for organizing a wonderful program. And I think which is a need about what we experience not be perceived and experienced by the others. It may be the policymakers, it may be the administrators, it may be the management personnel, or which teacher educators are facing at the moment need to be discussed. And it's a very important time to think what glitches we are facing, what problems we are facing, and how to come out of those problems. And as we all know that teacher education context is very important for all the teacher educators. And I also thank all the participants, and I came to know that more than 900 participants, seeing 250 participants videos or live videos at the YouTube. So welcome to you all. Yeah, that's what the intention of this webinar, problems and prospects of the education system, is going on in addressing all the issues of mankind and making on the earth and teaching for the entire mankind. So that's the reason why teacher educators play a very important role in chiseling, molding the prospective teachers and making this country a really good one, a good place to live in a harmonious problems as we are experiencing in teaching teacher education. And problems will help us to think, introspect, and overcome, to find out few of the solutions so that we can nurture, we can train good teachers for the future generations. That's the one thing. Second thing, prospects will be very important elements to think how does this teacher education or any profession go ahead and make the profession more useful and contribute significantly to the future. Hello? Please mute your mics so that there will be no distraction. Okay, so in pandemic, this has created global crisis. We all know that actually people are suffering, especially all classes of people are suffering, not just the teachers. You take any sector, any group of people, any kind of a society which is suffering a lot with the effect of pandemic, that is COVID 2019. And teachers are also facing a lot of difficulties because teachers were not aware that this was present, and hence they faced a lot of difficulties in their teaching learning process. Especially the private management who are running the unaided institutions, those teachers suffering the most. Best the expressions of the teacher educators in this pandemic period. And many of the teachers are saying that they are not paid the salaries and they are working from the homes, and it was entirely a new teaching experience for them because most of the teacher online kind of a teaching method. So that's the reason why they are facing a lot of issues maybe in terms of the materials or the gadgets. Other teachers have been removed from the colleges and they don't have the alternative jobs. And many teachers are saying that because of their dignity, they can't go for other jobs as well. So these are all some of the crises which has been created by this pandemic. And recently, to know this status, we tried to have a clear picture of the teacher educators and wanted to know what is the real situation. So what online survey, so that they can express clearly the so these are teachers are the weapons to change the society and nation through the education. Please protect the teachers. Second one, really our condition is very poor. We are facing very difficult to the teacher educators. And one of the teacher has told that if possible, government take care of private teachers. So many teachers are depending on salary. And one of the teachers says, make some regulations for monthly salary. Institution is not providing PF, ESI, and HRA. And one of the teacher has told that in every private institution, the original certificates of the teachers are taken and kept in the custody. If anybody wants back or take back those certificates, the managements are not ready to give. They are threatening the teachers. And from April to June, half salary has been paid. And one of the teacher has said, please support unaided B.Ed college teacher educators life. And very difficult to live without salary. Now I am unemployed, which means that teacher educator has been already terminated or removed from the job. And the next teacher said, I have decided to change my profession as there is no job security. And last teacher has telling that we don't have work. So these are the different. The teacher is saying that actually the managements are giving full salary, but they are taking back again for the showing. They're paying the full salaries, but after paying or crediting into the account, institution, and they have removed me now. I don't have any job security and life security. Please help me. So that was the gist of that Kannada write-up. And many of the teacher educators because of conduct online classes, but it is not possible in reality. So those were the words of teacher. Here I brought few of the statistics as well, so that we can understand in what conditions the teacher education participated, and teacher educators were participated, and most of them are from Karnataka. And we asked a few questions like, have you received the appointment order? And 22 teachers told that they had not received any appointment order. And when we asked regarding the salary issues, how they get the salary, whether through account, whether through cash or check, 124 teacher educators said that they are getting the salary through account payee, and 17 teachers cash, and 27 teachers through checks, and 6 teachers any other modes. And we also asked about the facilities as well as the leaves which they get in through those institutions. And 14 college teachers told that they are not getting any casual leaves. And we also asked whether your workshops, and 148 colleges or the teacher educators told that they are getting that they are not getting, or that they are not being given the earned leave facility, whereas it is available in 74. And we also asked that when the NCT has made norms to run the B.Ed colleges, whether your institution has full-fledged faculty members. 41 teacher educators have replied that their colleges don't have the full-fledged faculty members. And we also asked about the salary element. Do we get the salary monthly? 24 teacher educators said that they are not getting the salaries on monthly basis. And regarding the increment, it's almost 50% of the teacher educators saying that increment is not available, or they are not getting on a yearly basis. And the very important question we asked about the pandemic, have you haven't received the maybe a full salary or all the 4-month salaries? Only 92 teacher educators are saying that yes, they have received that too till June. And 31% of the teachers have not received the salary. They haven't received, and just 20% of the teacher educators have got salary till June, 16% till May, 13% till April, and 20% till March. We also asked about the teaching experience. How many teachers have got the teaching experience? 15% of the teacher educators are saying that they are 5 years of 22.5%, 15 years experience, and 15 years of experience are having 18%, which means most of the teacher educators who presented their views and experiences in the survey are having more than 10 years of teaching experience. And the salary element, they are getting just 5,500 rupees salary. As they're looking for 5,500 rupees, getting less than 10,000 salary. 19% of the teacher educators are saying that they are getting below 15,000. 13% of the teacher educators are saying below 20,000, and 14% of the teacher getting from 26,000 to 7,000 as a salary. So this is the teaching experience and salary they are getting for is like ESI. Just 21% of the teachers are getting maternity leave and paternity leave, and 16% of the teacher educators are not getting any facilities, either ESI, PF, maternity leave, or paternity leave. And CL, it also ranges. Each college will have a different set of number of CLs. It ranges from 1 to 50. Many of the colleges are giving just 1 CL, and few colleges are giving 15 CL. So that's a range of CLs being given to the teacher educators, and 8% of the colleges are not giving any CLs to the teachers. So no leave at all. They have to lose their pays if they go on leaves. 20% of the colleges have no full faculties are missing. And the very important element of aided college teacher educators, especially in Karnataka, I know very well, they are getting the salary for 3 months. Once in a 3 months or a 4 month, they are getting a salary, but nothing has been done. No problem has been solved from their perspective in terms of salary as well. Though they are getting government, these are things which are missing for the teacher educators. What would be the fate of teachers who are working in the next generation students, the equality, fraternity, and brotherhoodness? That's what the Constitution says. And we also teach our students that how to work out a proper strategies to gaining the rights. If the teacher educators are missing their rights in their area, in their teaching profession, how best we can train our students so that they can include the same kind of values and rights in the next generation. This is a big question. For all, we should ask ourselves that what are the important elements we are missing in our teaching profession. First thing. Second thing, to become a teacher educator, we need at least 28 years. We need to have a post-graduation in a course or SLT by the NCT regulations, so which requires at least 28 years. Think that by completion of all these courses, we need 28 years, and we complete at least 10 years of service in a teacher education means it's almost 38 years. And at that point of time, if a teacher educator works in an institution for 10 years means definitely that teacher educator will miss all the last year date for where we can go. There is no possibility of going and getting any other job than the teacher educator working in the teacher education institutions. Experiencing education sector, especially the teacher educators of private sector, as I can say. And school teachers are getting more salary. Many of the teachers, 82% of the teacher educators are education colleges are come under the private institutions. And I'm not generalizing all the private institutions. This is also very important. Please take care that I am not saying that all teacher education colleges are doing the same thing. No, there are excellent teacher education colleges which are giving all the facilities to the teacher educators. But there are some colleges we need to be changed. We need to be modified and give priority to all the aspects of teacher educators. So that is the intention. Don't think that in the whole country, almost institutions we have taken, and we are not generalizing that all the colleges are doing the same. So this is the aspect we have to understand. Those who are taking care of the teacher society, they are protecting the rights of the teacher, updated themselves and not providing the rights. That is the concern of the presentation. And these are the pandemic created situations, as I'm saying now. And we cannot say that the whole teacher education sector is not good. It is good. It is doing really well. It is producing good teachers based on so that is also the positive telling you. Don't think that by giving this idea, all the teacher education colleges are not doing well. No, it is not like that. And institution should treat all the teachers respectfully. They should provide all the emoluments and perks. It may be the yearly increment, health, leaves, pension, and all the professional development elements which should be provided, and it should be the bound responsibility of all institutions. And there are certain monitoring agencies and regulatory bodies also. The state government is there, UGC is there, NCT is there, and number of universities are there. They are monitoring it. They are monitoring to their level best to see that there must be a smooth functioning of teacher education institutions in this country. And the next big challenge we are all facing or we have to come across is the national education policy. So these are the issues which we are seeing in the pandemic area. And the next challenges and prospects, what we can see with the help of national education policy is, it has already presented its draft report in the year of 2019 only, which addresses the challenges of education like accessibility, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability. And recently, in the July 2020, on 29th, actually, a 60-page document was presented, and 66 pages of document was released at the website, and full-fledged document is not yet released. A lot of strategies are being prepared at present, and lot of conclaves are being conducted to disseminate the very basic value and ideology of national education policy to all the sectors of the people, so that the strategies can be planned, prepared well, and implemented, and even send it to the police, so that they can add those strategies and the rules in implementation of national education policy. Important challenge, we will come to know what challenges we will be having in future and what prospects we will be having in the next years to come. And NEP is saying that there should not be a standalone colleges after 2030. So this is a big challenge for standalone colleges. If 2030 would be the last year for giving go standalone colleges, what would fate of standalone colleges? What they have to do? That's a big question, and we have to think on that line as well. Standalone colleges, what about for them to go and work in the government sector, whether government will provide the opportunities for them? So this is also a big challenge for teacher educators who are working in the aided colleges. And next thing, NEP is rightly saying that actually these standalone colleges or the higher education colleges will be considered as multidisciplinary colleges. They have to convert themselves as multidisciplinations and give the certificates. So right now, the university is giving the affiliation to the colleges and giving the certificates. But applying the norms of NEP exams, as well as they have to give the certificates. So this is a prospects as well as a challenge for the colleges. And next, it is also saying that distance education courses from private college having an opportunity to give the distance education courses. So here, the teacher educators have to think course, distance education material, and also a very important issue. And we have to teach online, because already we are experiencing that there are a lot of glitches in online education, or a lot of issues in the online education. If we want to go and teach smoothly through online, what issues we come across and how to resolve those issues can be a very good challenge, as well as the prospects for the teacher educators. And how to use the ICT in every component of education is a very good prospect as well as a challenge for teacher educators. And NEP is rightly suggesting that there must be 6% GDP on education, but government till now just spending 3% of the GDP, and now it has come down to 2.88%. It is almost 99,300 crore rupees. So which means the government has to spend almost double GDP, as we are just spending 3%, which means double amount we have to spend on education system. So that all the higher education institutions will be in a multidisciplinary kind of institutions, wherein all the courses are being taught. It may be science courses or it may be arts courses, commerce, such kind of institutions we will be have institutions. The first kind of institution is research universities, where more focus will be on research and teaching. And it is saying that there will be 100 to 300 such institutions in the country. And type 2 institutions are teaching universities. They focus more on teaching, as well as they can take up few research activities as well. And there will be 1,000 to 2,000 institutions in the country over a period of 2 decades. And the third important element, which is very much related to all of us, is colleges. Yes, the colleges, which are as multidisciplinary institutions, and they can offer the diploma and certificate programs, as well as the vocational and professional courses. And they are saying that 5,000 to 10,000 such institutions, total 300 type 3 institutions, which means 12,300 institutions we will be having. So here is a big question for all the institutional managements as well as the teachers, how to thousand institutions to 12,000. And as I rightly mentioned, that degree granting powers are left to the autonomous colleges as well as the multidisciplinary colleges. They can be a public as well as private institutions. So this is a new arena has been opened up in the private sector, as I can say. And the question is, if the colleges are doing well, yes, it is very good. If there are sub-education we can expect from them is a big challenge. And there will be no UGC in future. Instead of UGC, there will be a new council, that is Higher Education Government Regulatory Authority, NHERA, which will regulate all kinds of education. It may be medical colleges, it may be a business colleges. So all varieties of only national regulatory bodies like NCTE, MCI, BCI, which they come under that category. But regulation will be done by, regulatory work will be done by NHERA. So here, this may be a, there may be and also private higher education institutions. It may be the colleges as well as the universities. They should give the scholarship ranging from 100 to 50. Thus colleges. And can government authentically monitor it is also a challenge. If yes, how? So that is the thing we have to think, and this would be a very challenging task for private managements also. I'm talking from private managements. Can they do that? Actually, policy is saying. Next, it is also saying that the type 3 institutions, they can also the open and distance learning courses. now only the universal mode of learning course. In a policy, it has been mentioned that if they are accredited, definitely they can run the distance mode of learning courses. So again, if this will be the can run that show. Facilities, do they prepare the material? Do they prepare the learning resources with the staff they are having? So these are all the issues patterns. One is that it as a challenge for the institutions as well as for the teachers. If think that one of the multidisciplinary college, including teacher education course, is running a distance education mode, of content exhibition to the students, or whether the colleges which are running the multidisciplinary institutions without BA if they're the content, how they can through online. And these are the challenge we come across. And the
Sorry for the disturbance, sir. So here we are seeing only the message chat box. Someone is sharing that one.
second educators will be having ample opportunities. The programmed instruction material, it may be based on the individualized instruction materials. So if we are in preparing the different course materials for different institutions. So this is a big prospect we can see through this NEP 2020. And next is open online courses. MOOC would, which is already giving. India is at the second rank now after US because we have a lot of online learning. All provides good infrastructure to the rural masses, especially the rural students and children. They are facing a lot of issues in relation to the internet as well as the infrastructure facilities. And there is a special chapter in the report. Chapter 15 says about the teacher education. It is rightly saying that actually multidisciplinary colleges and universities will only give the 4-year integrated bachelor's degrees. So no other standalone colleges can give the 4-year integrated bachelor's degree unless they convert themselves into and there must be a mission mode by MHRD, and that mission has to see that if any college is not doing well in accordance with the regulations of the higher authorities or the higher bodies, if any college breaches those regulations, definitely those colleges must be shut down, and that should be done till 2000. Okay,
Please continue, sir.
Thank you very much to all the participants for your patience. Yes, I was talking about the admissions to pre-service teacher preparation programs. So there will be a national level of testing, and which screen all the students, which means for the admission process. Now the question is actually, do our aspirants actually, the students, what they aspire for national level examination normally in NET, NEET, JEE and CET for other courses, that kind of aspiration we'll be having for teacher education courses is a big question actually. Training courses, will they aspire? Will they apply for those exams is a question. Second thing is, what about the salary structure of the teachers? See, naturally for other courses, engineering, medical courses, they'll be having a great status with the salary as well. But for the teachers in the schools, actually, that kind of a status will be there. No, doubt about that. What about the salary structure? So unless we give good salaries at the school level as well, students will not turn up to come to the teacher education courses, that too by applying at national level testing. So that is a big issue in Indian scenario. And regarding the faculty in teacher education also, it is saying that there must be blended courses, online courses, as well as part-time, evening, and other kind of formats in teacher education, which can be a prospect for the teacher educators, because if anybody wants to have the teacher education course in a part-time mode, yes, they can take. Even the evening colleges can also be run for the teacher education courses. So an extra element has been added in the teacher education, so that if anybody wants to take the teacher education course, now we'll be having an easy way of getting those courses and joining the teacher programs. So this is a big prospect for teacher educators. And even it is saying that actually just PhD in education is not only required criteria. If PhD in other subjects also can also be considered for teacher education courses. So that is a question again. If all the courses PhDs will be considered for teacher education, what is the specialization then? And it is also saying that it is desirable. MEd, Master of Arts, MA in Education, or Doctor of Education is a desirable course for working at teacher education institutions. But this will not be mandatory. It is telling clearly that it is not mandatory. Means if anybody is having PhD in other subject, can also come and work in teacher education now. So is it right way to claim that without specialization one can come and teach in teacher education? Is a big challenge for teacher educators. We have to think in this aspect as well. And even the recruitment process, it is saying that again the National Testing Agency will test. They will give the scores to the individual states. In turn, states can appoint the teachers for the schools. And even the private school teachers will have to complete or pass the NTA examination. That will be made mandatory. And the second type of screening will be there for the teachers as well. That is interview. First, the written examination. Second one, the interview. And third one, it is the giving demo lessons, maybe at BRC level, or else it can be sent through electronically. But how it goes, how the things will be separated, will be a very big challenge for the state governments in the selection process of teachers. And there will be professional standards for teachers also. That is National Professional Standards for Teachers. So that will be developed by 2022 in coordination with the NCTE and NCERT. And those important bodies will design the pre-service teacher education programs as well, which means the pre-service teacher education programs curriculum especially will be designed in accordance with the NCTE and NCERT when they prepare the National Professional Standards for Teachers. So this is also very important thing in preparing the rules and regulations and curriculum for teacher education courses. And vertical mobility will be there. If school teacher is working in school, in one of the school, means if he wish to join administration, definitely he will be provided an opportunity. Or else if he wants to work as a teacher educator, means that candidate will be provided opportunity to become teacher educators, which means one can become school teacher now. If he wishes to work in administration level, yes, he can be given opportunity, or else he can be also allowed to work as a teacher educator in teacher education institutions. So all the opportunities will be opened up for school teachers now. And here, if the MEd is not made as a mandatory and specialized subject for the minimum course for becoming school teachers as well as the teacher educators, they cannot be given opportunity to work in different levels. So at least what teacher educators can be done at this stage means, why can't we suggest the governments so that at least a specialized subject in education should be made as a mandatory subject or a course for becoming teacher educators in B.Ed colleges, educational administrators in administration level, as well as in other sectors. And the B.Ed course will include 6 varieties of teachers they have to prepare. The foundational preparation school teachers, they called as a generalist teachers, subject teachers for middle and secondary schools, special education teachers, art teachers including visual and performing arts, teachers for vocational education, as well as physical education teachers. But right now, the NEP document is not telling anything about the physical education course. So we don't know actually, but this is being told in the report that the B.Ed program will include all the varieties of teachers, which means B.Ed course should develop all 6 varieties of teachers. So it is itself a big challenge for teacher educators, how to plan, how to prepare the curriculum, and how to develop all 6 varieties of teachers in that program. It's a big task. And the 2-year B.Ed courses can be run in 2 institutions. One is the CTEs, Colleges for Teacher Education, and Regional Institute of Education. So RIs are already running, but CTEs can run those courses. But we don't know, when CTE is itself not a multidisciplinary institution, how can the governments will provide opportunity to continue the B.Ed courses at CTEs? That's a big question. If they allow, definitely it will be having a prospect for teacher educators, because no appointments at all in CTEs. Till still its inception, no appointments have been done, especially in Karnataka. But there are 6 to 7 CTEs are working in this state. Definitely, if that prospect will be there, many of the teacher educators will get an opportunity to work in the CTEs as well as in the RIs also. RIs also, since more than 1 decade, I haven't seen any appointments. So more appointments we can expect in RIs as well as CTEs. And the very big threat for all the private institutions and the government institutions of this country is inviting the foreign universities into India. They are saying that actually the top 100 universities can come and start their courses, set up their institutions in India. If the case is so, how to compete those universities with our university teacher education sector can be a very big challenge for us. And the NEP is also saying that the private managements can fix their own fee structure. It is left to the private managements to fix the fee structure, whatever they want. So if the case is so, is it not a commercialization of education? If government is not fixing any fee structure, means definitely it's a whim and fancy of the institution, and they can fix any amount of fees, and that will not be possible for all the stakeholders, all the students to take up the teacher education courses. And here are some of the important suggestions which I brought in terms of opportunities for teacher education also. First thing, teachers' life and security and dignity is very important. We have to maintain it, and we should resolve these problems. What problems we have in terms of appointment, salary, increment, leave, promotion, professional development, these things have to be resolved, and government should take care of all those things and monitor properly of all the institutions. That's the first thing. Second thing, there must be funds for private sector teachers as well, so that they can conduct the research work, they can develop the infrastructure, and even they can organize number of programs also. The funds may be from state government as well as from the union. It is there for only private aided institutions as well as government, but the private institutions must also seek the grants and request the governments to take the funds. Unless we take the funds, definitely we cannot expect good infrastructure as well as the working conditions in the private sector. That's the important thing. And third one is, there must be the National Teacher Educators Repository, so that all the teachers who are working in the teacher education institutions, the information must be, or the database must be there in the repository, so that if a teacher is working in one institution, will not be shown in the other institutions. So that's what the case we have experienced all these years. So this should not be there, and whatever the perks, emoluments, and the salary benefits one teacher is getting must be there in the database, so that there is no improper or the misunderstandings between the institutions and in terms of their facilities given to the teachers. So that is very important. And next is try to allow the standalone B.Ed colleges to run till the 3-year degree courses run in this country. The NEP is saying that there will be 4-year as well as 3 years B.Ed degree courses. So unless and until the 3-year degree courses run in this country, the government should provide the opportunity to run the standalone B.Ed colleges also, because the feeding students come from 3-year degree courses. So again, all the teacher educators of the standalone colleges request, and you can also send a report to the higher authorities, as we can say the NEP body as well as the policymakers, so that they must allow the standalone B.Ed colleges. And next is, if possible, there would be a transfer norms for aided colleges also. Aided colleges to government teacher colleges, or government teacher colleges to aided teacher college institutions. So that kind of a transfer norm must be there, so that based on your specialization, you can work in any of the institutions. And there is no direct appointment of BEO, DDPI and JDs, joint directors. Why can't we have a education service at national and state level, so that we can appoint directly the BEOs, DDPIs and JDs, as we are seeing in Indian administration services and Indian foreign services. So that kind of a service we require at national and state level, so that the postgraduates in teaching professional will be having an opportunity to appoint directly as an administrator in the states as well as in the central. And appointment of KES officers, which has been stopped almost 10 years before. No appointments for KES examinations. So there must be continuous appointments of KES and appointments at CTs as well as DIETs. And there is a possibility of appointment of school counselors also, because teacher training institutions will train the teachers in counseling aspects also. So school counselors, curriculum developers are very much required for all the schools and zones of schools. So in that, again, a possibility of appointment is needed, and we should request again the governments to have such appointments in future. And as I mentioned, that give more financial aids to the B.Ed colleges. So that is required. Probably 2000 till 2002, the aid was given to the B.Ed colleges in Karnataka. I don't know much about the other states, but we can request the government to give more financial aid, so that our institutions can work in a more better manner actually. And PU college principal post must be made compulsory based on the MEd course, because it's a administrative post where requires a lot of administrative skills and leadership skills. So I think MEd would be the quite apt choice for minimum qualification to become a PU college principal post. And right now, MA education is become equivalent to the MEd. So it is not equivalent actually. MA education is a common course, what we can see like other MA courses, post-graduation courses, but MEd is a professional course. And there are a lot of elements in MEd which are not there in MA education. So MEd is a professional course, and that course must be made compulsory to become teacher educator in the colleges. So NCT should change this norm. So we have to write to the NCT as well to change it, and the associations must work and convince the government. This is very important. So we have gone through the different aspects of NEP, and we have seen the different issues also which are prevailing in the teacher education. And unless we prepare a clear roadmap and strategy, how best this NEP will be implemented at the grassroots level, implemented in the teacher education level, and unless we convince the governments and policymakers, we will not be having a smooth road to work in the teacher education sector. And my last suggestion is, yes, only associations can do that. Unless we raise our voice, unless we say that something is not good, definitely nobody will come and solve the problems of teacher education. So associations must work and get your rights. So this is very important, and hence Noam Chomsky once said that in The Responsibility of Intellectuals, it is the moral responsibility of intellectuals to expose the lies and tell the truth. So everything will not be good. So every context cannot be supportive to all the levels of workers. So definitely there may be some problems, there may be some lacunas. Unless we identify them and address them, we cannot come across the solutions to those problems. And this is the responsibility of all intellectuals, what we are working in the teacher education sector. And that's what I can say. No society or nation will grow above the level of teachers. So unless we think, unless we discuss, unless we reform, unless we protect, definitely this teacher education system will not be going to change itself unless we try it from our perspective. So thinking, discussing, and reforming is the part of our profession, and we are the ones to protect our teacher education system. So hope I have not confused you or bored you. Whatever I have thought based on the present situation and the current scenario which is going on in this country, I have brought those ideas and presented in the PowerPoint presentations. And I hope you have come across few of the issues which are there in the teacher education. And if any questions are there or any discussions are there, you can post it in the chat box so that I can answer from my side.
So the questions have already been posted in the chat box.
Yes.
So the first question is from Hemant. How can we develop a mechanism for overcoming the problems of private teacher education institution? This is his question, sir.
Okay. Hemantji, it's a very good question and a very a comprehensive question, because all these years we haven't resolved these issues, isn't it? That's the reason why we are facing a lot of problems. See, always think that the philanthropies are there who are working or who are serving for the mankind, means they are starting the institutions. This was the notion, and this is the notion still going on. But always private people think that they should not be overburdened. And as much as possible, they try to help themselves first. In most of the cases, I'm telling you, I'm not generalizing 100% again. Okay. So private persons want to gain something out of that institution. If the case is so, how best we expect that they will give all the possibilities of the rights what we are expecting from those institutions. This is the first thing. Second thing is, it is their bound responsibility to provide, because they give in a written consent that whatever the rule says, they will apply them, they will adopt them, and whatever possibilities of services they render to the society, they do at their best. So that's what they say. They confirm to the government. Then only there are a lot of institutions visits. There are a lot of issues the higher authorities will come across and solve them. And it is the prime responsibility of every management, private management, to provide them. So what we expect is, in such pandemic situations, especially, not over a long run, I'm telling, pandemic situations, government will be having an upper hand. In such situations, government can help, because already government has extended its hands to 80 crore people. They have given special packages, and they have not given any special package for teachers. I don't know why. So here, the role of teachers is very important. Why can't the associations ask clearly and request the government to give some of the packages to the teachers, at least in this pandemic period, so that the next, after COVID, the managements can handle those situations quite well. So this is the very important time or the patchy situation all the teacher educators are experiencing. And I again request all the associations to think and bring into the notice of governments, so that one-time package can be released to all the teacher educators who are working, especially in the private sector. This can be done.
Well, thank you, sir. We have another question from Venugopal. What about standalone institutions and national level professional bodies approved by government like NIPM, ISTD and AIMA?
Okay, as these are the yes, these are the bodies approved by the national level bodies, and when the MHRD thinks that these institutions will run according to the norms of national policy, definitely they work according to that. If any changes are being made by higher authorities, means definitely the bodies will be changed, no issues. So government bodies will not be any issue in relation to the higher authorities. So according to the changes made in the policies, definitely changes will be expected in the national level bodies or the government bodies.
Thank you, sir.
Next question.
So the last question, because we are running out of time. This question is from Rubinas. Please find some of the recommendations for higher education institution to carry on with teaching and learning activities. This is the question, sir.
Please, madam. Please
So
repeat
once, yeah, I'll repeat it, sir. Please find some of the recommendations for higher education institution to carry on with teaching and learning activities.
Okay, the NEP is already recommended that very clearly. So now whatever changes will be there in higher education and teacher education, definitely those recommendations have to be incorporated. There is no other go. So what National Education Policy 2020 is saying, every higher education institution must adopt it and follow it. That's the only thing. And what we can do at this moment is, if something is not fit into the teacher education, if something is not apt into the teacher education, we can bring into the notice of the higher authorities, the policy makers, the governments, so that instead of fighting after its implementation, we can say why it is not apt, why it is not good, and how it has to be resolved. So those strategies have to be suggested by the associations to the governments and policymakers. Next, madam, any other question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we have finished with almost all the questions.
And one thing what I am noticing in the chat box is, many of the teacher educators are discussing about or giving their opinions regarding the salary issues, appointments issues, isn't it? So this is the need of the hour, because if there is no appointment, government appointments, naturally all the qualified candidates will go to the private colleges or institutions. This is quite normal. So what we have to suggest to the higher authorities or the governments is, why can't we have more government institutions in this country? Government teacher education institutions, government teacher education universities. Why can't we have more? Because already 3% of GDP is being spent on education. Means if NEP is telling that there must be 6% of GDP invested on education, definitely the number of institutions will be doubled. Think that some 700 government institutions are working in this country, means why can't we have 1,400 institutions, so that more employment opportunities for all the qualified candidates. They can work in teacher educations, they can work in colleges, they can work in universities. All the graduates in the teacher education are dependent more on private sector. That's what I told. 92% of the colleges are being run by private institutions. So why can't we reduce it? There are 12,000 institutions in the country, private institutions. Why can't government will start at least 5,000, 6,000 institutions? Government institutions, I'm telling you. Why can't the B.Ed is being started in government institutions? Right now, the degree colleges are giving other courses, no? If B.Ed is being started in government colleges, means naturally more teacher educators will opportunity to get appointed in the degree colleges. So instead of blaming the government, private institutions, we should make clear mechanism. We should follow the strict rules. In tune, the associations will work very hard so that we can gain the proper rights for the teacher educators at private sector. We should get more opportunities in the government sector so that we can expect good teacher education system in this country. So unless and until investing more on teacher education in government sector, definitely this problem will not be resolved. So that's what I feel.
Yes, sir, exactly.
And the last one thing I would like to suggest you that this is a very auspicious day for all of us. We have already crossed 73 years of independence. We being the teacher educators think of ourselves also. We should think of ourselves, how independent we are. Can we teach independently? Can we prepare curriculum independently? Can we evaluate independently? In every aspect, one or the other will come into the picture. We are not allowed to teach independently. We are not allowed to evaluate independently. So that independence is very much required. So we have to unite each other. We have to unite in a strong manner. All associations must work in that aspect and see that how best we can gain our rights from the managements, from the governments, from the higher authorities. If you will not do this, definitely some more problems will come into the teacher education and we will not be respected at all. Definitely, school teachers are respected more than the teacher educators. I'm damn sure. They are more independent in teaching. They are more independent in awarding the marks. We are not doing it. So we should do it. We should tune ourselves. We should sit together. We should write down on these things, actually, convince the governments, convince the representatives. They have elected from teacher education sectors. We should convince them and see that how best we can make changes in the teacher education. So this is the need of the hour. Okay?
Yes, sir. So thank you for answering all the participant questions. I once again thank you, sir, for sharing your knowledge with us. The session was very realistic. I can see all the chat boxes. The participants are very convinced as it carried a lot of wisdom and vision for our future teacher educators. Participants, I regret for the inconvenience caused to you because of technical session. In spite of this, we have completed this session, and participants kindly note the feedback link will be displayed in the chat box after vote of thanks. Kindly fill in the feedback form as it will be available only for 10 minutes. Certificates will be issued to all the participants who have completed filled in feedback forms. And as there is overwhelming responses from all over India, take it Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Orissa, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Rajasthan and Karnataka, nearly we have 1,000 participants who has participated in this webinar. So it will nearly take 10 days to issue the certificates. Kindly bear, but definitely you will be getting e-certificates. So we have come to the end of the session. No session is complete without expressing a sense of appreciation, admiration, sense of adoration and gratitude to all who have made this webinar memorable with your presence. Now, I request B. Vijay Rajendra, the coordinator, to propose vote of thanks. Over to Vijay.
Ladies and gentlemen, I B. Vijay Rajendra, lecturer, Nandini College of Education, Karnataka, and program coordinator. Good afternoon to all. It gives me immense pleasure to propose vote of thanks. Firstly, I would like to thank today's resource person, Dr. Jagannath K. Dange, for having enriched us with lots of knowledge. Thank you, sir. I would also like to thank today's chairperson and our beloved principal, Dr. V.S. Kattimani. I would also like to thank academician, faculty members, research scholars, students. My thanks goes to all my team members for their encouragement and support. Thank you one and all for making this webinar a grand success.